Today in the crypto space, we see the market taking a bit of a dip to the downside. Bitcoin down below the $100,000 mark, down approximately 3.5%, and the rest of the crypto space, these altcoins, are pretty much in the red, with many buy the dip opportunities to come. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one project that is down to the bottom of the range once again, and that project is called Kaspa. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome on the channel. We talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. Looking for opportunity, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's see what's going on with this market. When you do see the overall market cap go sideways like this, while there's no trading volume, that tells you there's no market participation. Very little action is happening in the crypto space at the current moment. Given, guys, we're, hopefully you're enjoying your holidays. We are in a holiday season. We've basically seen a lot of people take some time off in the last little while, and this is why the order books are very thin still, and we're seeing a lot of slow price action everywhere. However, there could be signs of a bit of manipulation because of that, and this is something that we need to be concerned with. Now, Bitcoin is still going sideways. However, in the short term, I'm expecting this dip. I have been expecting a correction, and so far we've been getting everything that we've expected, down below the 100,000, right around 95,800 as we speak. I feel like it could be that we get another dip, guys, given the fact that the current moment, the bearish thesis on the daily is still running strong. And as you can also see, in addition, that we're seeing some of the altcoins show and reflect the sentiment. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin in a second, of course, just as a leading indicator, and then we're going to take a look at Kaspa to see what's going on with the Caspians, what's going on with the Kaspa community. Why is the price dipping? Are we in trouble here with regarding Kaspa's price, and so on? But in the meantime, before we do that, let's scrape through the top 100 to get a sense of what this market is up to today. We can see that, there's a lot of dips, a little bit of rollovers everywhere. You can see that sideways, but rolling over in the short term. As you can see, about 5 to 10% across the market. Bitget token is still flying, BGB still flying to the upside. That's pretty good, guys, to see that exchange tokens are doing well. But why BGB specifically, Bitget token specifically? There's got to be something there, guys, fundamentally, to cause such a catalyst to the upside, especially with a KYC exchange like Bitget. We do see a bit of corrections on some of the projects that have been interested in the last little while, like Hyperliquid rolling over a little bit. We're seeing our first lower high, which could be a sign of a continuation to the downside for another lower low. This is what we have to pay attention to, and obviously keep in mind that this fractal right here is the 1 hour time frame. It's a 1 hour fractal, so it could be just a short-term correction across the market, but the short term obviously is dependent on the 1 hour, maybe even the 4 hour, and obviously it is very dependent on what the daily does in the next little while, because like I mentioned, the daily time frame is still not looking the greatest, and we'll take a look at what that means when we use Bitcoin as a leading indicator in a second. As I keep on scrolling down, guys, you can see all these fractals are not looking really good. They're looking like double topish here on the 1 hour. We do have a few projects doing okay, like even Pudgy Penguins is okay, doing all right, up 34% in the last 7 days is obviously great. And we have tokenized exchange doing great, but the rest, like, guys, those are some random anomalies that, Gate is also doing good with a bit of a pullback. These exchange tokens, you can expect that they're going to show a lot of strength in the upcoming weeks and months, given the fact that a lot of newcomers to this space are looking for exchanges, fresh new exchanges. And guys, if you are one of them and you are looking for an exchange, I have a link in the description below to Blowfin. Blowfin is a no KYC exchange. What that means is that all you need is an email, and obviously I also have a link to Mexi, which is one of the leading exchanges with all kinds of trading pairs, and go check that out, guys. All those links, all they do is support the channel. They're free. There's no obligations whatsoever. You just you just sign up and you get all involved, which is great. As you can see, the market is giving us opportunities, and these opportunities are also trading opportunities, right? Whether it be leverage or trading on spot, whatever the case is, we need to prepare here, guys. So ultimately, you have to have a buy list. And for me, I have Beam on my buy list. I do hold Beam a decent amount, but I want more. So I'm keeping an eye on that one. And we're seeing a lot of others on the top, 100 come down to lower levels. I also like Rune, but I do hold some, but I would like more. I'm really going to start emphasizing the importance on accumulating tokens that I don't have any of, that came out hot in the last little while from hot narratives and so on and so forth. So stay tuned. We'll talk about all of this live tonight on the live stream at 8 p.m. EST. Make sure that you subscribe, click the bell so you don't miss out on at the 8 o'clock, so you get that reminder and that bell notification. All right, guys, let's jump right into some charts. I know you're here to talk about price action, so let's begin. Let's take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, at the end of the day, showing a bit of weakness across the market and permeating that weakness across the market. Basically, Bitcoin as a leading indicator shows us that it has the strength to cause negativity, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, even if it's just a short-term retracement before we get a bounce to the upside once again. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail here. You can see Bitcoin, this retracement back down. Obviously, we didn't make a lower low, guys, so it is still fine. We're still okay. We're still in a little bit of a structure here, and it's the daily that bothers me, but mostly we should be trading the 4-hour at the current moment. So let's just kind of look at what's happening on the daily. Nothing has really changed here. You can see that the Class A bearish divergence is still here, guys, and the risk that we take to go long right now is that we see follow through on this divergence. In fact, right around the chop zone and below, if we see the purple line fall below, right around this chop zone, the 50% mark is usually when we see the bigger drops, and obviously even more so when we get oversold below the 30. That's when we usually get the bigger moves. Now, let's hypothetically entertain that thesis. Let's say that we do get oversold here on the daily. Where do you think the price is going to stop? The first stop for me, the likelihood is at right around $86,000, $87,000. That's where I'm expecting our first test, and that's where I'm going to be deploying a good portion of my capital across the market, not on Bitcoin, but on some of the altcoins, right? Because altcoins are going to take a bigger hit. Now, if we do not or cannot hold support right around this level, again, 87, 86,000. It is likely that we take full advantage of the volume gap below and drop to 77. And again, we do have a volume CME gap below that could still get filled. And all we're saying here is, if the price gets oversold and drops down to this level, and the trend continues pushing to the downside, EMA is facing down with red histogram bars, guys, the daily is going to be in control of the price action in the next little while. And if this continues this way, expect lower price action, okay? And this obviously is going to translate to negativity throughout the altcoins, and the altcoins are going to be in a great buy the dip scenario, guys, so be prepared if that's the case. However, we've been seeing the 4-hour play a little bit of games, and this is what's so important here, guys, is to track price action. And this is a bit of an idea that I did post a while back on the Discord, and I've been speaking about it here on the channel for the last little while, and you can see that it's actually playing out pretty perfectly. And you can see that even this little top right here, we pretty much hit it pretty good, okay? Obviously, and I'm going to move the goalpost a little bit just so that we can keep this chart very active, but you can see that, it's pretty good, getting a rejection right around this diagonal line, which is the bottom of this rising channel. It is a very bearish scenario to make not only a lower high, but also getting rejected off that diagonal there is not a good look for Bitcoin and the future of the price immediate short term. In addition, we can see that the 4 hour still upwards trending, which is nice, obviously, but the way the daily is positioned, if the daily continues showing that weakness and it gets in control again by dropping through that chop zone that I mentioned earlier, we could see the price come down to 87, and you can see that ultimately we could stay oversold for a good little while before we actually pop to the upside, getting another touch down to oversold conditions. And that's usually what happens when we're in some bearish conditions. Now, I'm only talking about the 4 hour here, and a decent reset on the daily. That's all we really could ask for in a bull market. And the reality is we are in a bull market, but we're in a very dry period of this bull market, given the holidays, given that people are taking time off, and this is normal, right? So I can expect the market to get back into regular conditions after in the new year, which is really good, obviously giving us some opportunity to let this resolve itself. But in the meantime, guys, I wouldn't be surprised if we came down for a quick move down to about 87,000. As I said, you can see even still the 4 hours still in somewhat confluence of that. And if you look at the trend right now, EMA is facing down. The histograms are turning red, and this last expansion here is already rolling over, and that's a bit of a concern in the immediate short term. And volatilities and oversold conditions. What about if we come down here, hesitate a little bit like we've done here, even here, and we kind of stay here and get this purple line right back where it came from in oversold conditions? It most likely would at least test these bottoms and fulfill this channel. Now, I just want to quickly look at the price action here on the 4 hour before we move on to the Kaspa chart. What about if this becomes a bear flag, impulsive move down, sideways price action, bear flag, and then continuation down for another leg, and this would be considered an ABC correction, which is absolutely fine, guys. Just remember, ABC corrective measures do happen frequently, even in bull runs. After a 5-wave to the upside, we should get a 3-wave correction at one given point. So I say let's get it done and over with so we can get this party started once again. But if this dips this way, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to the altcoins? Guys, let's take a look at Kaspa. Let's see what's going on with the Caspians and the Kaspa price. Ultimately, the emotions are here, I can tell, and they're permeating throughout the market. And it's not just Kaspa. There's a lot of projects right now that, communities are quite emotional, and there's the lack of focus perhaps, but we have to keep focused here, guys. And the focus is not just primarily, promoting good tech. Kaspa, a lot of people argue that it's the greatest tech ever. This is not the point. The point is it good tech? Sure, it's great tech. There's a lot of good tech out there. The problem is that does the market actually value this good tech at the current price? And this is what price charts do, give you current sentiment versus supply and demand. And supply and demand basically tells you whether, the market is willing to pay for the token or the coin at this particular price. And you can see that there's a bit of supply entering the market. Why? Because people feel like it's overvalued at this point, and no one can argue that. No one can go and say, oh, it's over. How do you think it's overvalued? The tech is the best. It doesn't matter what you feel. What the matter is are people willing to pay it at 18 cents? And you can see no, people are not willing to pay that 18 cents, and we're back down to about 12 cents at the current moment. And this is where I've made it very clear, guys, this is resistance. And I also made it very clear around here that this is support, and this was the time to go long. And I also made it very clear that this is a trading range where people, at the end of the day, even the Caspians themselves, do not care about the Caspian future. Reason being is that there's too many sellers. There's too many sellers and there's too many buyers equally. They're equal buying and selling. This is why we're getting sideways price action. People are trading. They're not accumulating and hodling at this current moment. And the only reason we can say that is because we're getting full retracements almost back down to the bottom of the range. So as soon as we get a signal that there's accumulation happening, we need to, basically say, okay, Kaspa's ready to break out. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't accumulate down here. There is a little bit of an understanding of accumulation, just a little bit. I'll admit, this was a low, it's a slightly higher low. Are we making a higher low here? Not really. Could we make a higher low here? Maybe. Look at the volume. I just want to make this very clear, okay? Even the Caspians are included in this idea. The reality is that we moved right up with lots of volume, and we came right down with a lot of volume. Okay, now who bought here? Or were there some bullish Caspians buying into this level? Were there some newcomers into this space buying at this level? 100%. But then at this level, everybody pretty much that bought almost equal amount of volume, basically sold. So there's bullishness and bearishness equally measured pretty much. Actually, one could argue that the sell-off was stronger than the buy-up, right? Because it happened in a concentrated time frame very quickly, and all it was is a quick profit-taking scenario. Now, we need evidence that we're ready to break out. So this is the issue here, guys. This is a trading range that people are using for trading, and what this really needs, what Kaspa really needs at this current moment is some good fundamentals of, a catalyst of fundamentals. Not a promise, not a statistic, nothing that it has been repeated a million times over. What we need is something fresh and new. And obviously, I'm not the one to tell you because I'm not a Caspian. I trade charts, guys, but I can tell you what the chart is telling you. The chart is telling you they're desperate for a catalyst. They're desperate for something bullish. And unless something bullish happens here, we're going to trade sideways, or it's just going to jump on the crypto bandwagon when the rest of the altcoins run up. People are just going to buy because you know what? Everything runs. And that's very scary because without fundamentals, Kaspa is going to make a fat retracement. Even though the tech is good, the community's strong, borderline, toxically strong, but the reality is without some more fundamentals and fundamental catalysts to the upside, we're not going to get price action to the upside. So this is the whole sentiment right here. I want to ask you, what is happening with this volume? What are these goons doing in here? And I'll tell you right now, they're just buying and selling. No one's holding. Not many people are holding at this current moment, which means that no one is really bullish at these levels. They're just trading and taking full advantage of an easy trading range. So I would like to know where the Caspians are at, because if they're super bullish, why aren't they buying and holding? Why aren't they just, accumulating and buying all in? Obviously, right now is a difficult time for Kaspa, considering that it's literally range bound. Okay, so that's the daily. Now, if we go in the 4 hour, you can see literally there's a lot of volume in here. Equal buying up into this way and then equal selling coming right back down. We're back to the bottom of the range, and we're talking about risk to reward once again. We're talking about, look, if we're going to be trading the range, you might as well put some faith into this range and buy the dip. Now, you can see that we're very close to the bottoms once again, as we have taken action at this level before. Now take it again, buy the dip, accumulate, know your invalidations. It's slightly below the yellow. I'm just going to be very, very clear, is that when the invalidations, both bullish and bearish, price action invalidations, become too easy and a little bit too predictable, that is where the market tends to want to induce pain. Why? Market makers love hunting liquidity when all the retail market, start buying and longing and shorting at perfect levels where we've done it so many times. It's too much of an easy money printing scenario for a market maker not to take full advantage of that scenario. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I can see that oscillators. We'll take a look at the daily oscillators. I know I kind of just jumped right through that. You could see that we did stay oversold, and right now, if we come down for a lower low, we could definitely get our first signs of divergence, bullish divergence here on the 4 hour, which is not a bad scenario. But in addition to that, you have to understand we can get multiple drives, and it does look like it wants to break down and come down lower, which means that we could still make a higher high, a higher low here on the purple line, which is the momentum oscillator. Make a higher low, which is fine, and then a lower low on the price action, which is fine, which will give us a class A bullish divergence right into this level at a very good level of horizontal support, which again we've had so many times over. So if we do get that divergence, another impulsive down, lower low on the price action, higher low on the momentum, it is a good indication that maybe start buying in a little bit of a spot buy. But again, where are people going to take profits if we do get a bounce off of here? They're going to start de-risking here again, and it gives us more of an indication that long-term holders, long-term accumulators are not doing it. They're not doing their job. They're not doing their part. They're just not putting their money where their mouth is and buying and accumulating and holding. They're taking profits and selling off as well. So we got to understand that's the reality. Now, at this current moment, we do also see that the trend oscillator is not showing as much strength as we would wish, given the fact that the EMAs are facing down with red histogram bars and the expansion is full force to the downside at the current moment in the bearish control zone. So it's not a good look also for the trend oscillator. Both trend and momentum on the 4 hour are looking pretty weak. Now, if we go on the daily, again, oscillators, And this is not exclusive to Kaspa. I'm not being, hating on Kaspa. I'm just saying how it is. Bitcoin's doing the same thing. A lot of the market is doing the same thing on the daily. In fact, I would say that Kaspa is at least almost oversold, while Bitcoin is still trying to make its way. It's almost there. I feel like Kaspa is going to get the bigger move to the downside any moment now, because you can see that once the daily gets oversold in below the 30% and volatility is oversold and the expansion is coming down quite hot, guys, this is the time where you want to watch out, because this is an opportunity to start accumulating. When we start getting into this level, when you see the purple line get oversold, you start dropping into the 4-hour, you start looking at good divergence levels, you start looking for divergence even on the daily, you start accumulating as the 4-hour and the daily are giving you confluence for a reversal structure to the upside. You begin by looking for divergences. You start looking at inverse head and shoulders, cup and handles, Adam and Eves, any pivot point structures that could give you some bullishness. And as we speak, we're still pushing down. As you can see, the price is coming down. So you pick it. The time frame doesn't matter. It's still looking bearish at the current moment, and even the daily, the hourly is not even looking the greatest. Okay, so Kaspa, at the end of the day, guys, I believe Kaspa is going to do well. I believe that a lot of good altcoins are going to do well, and Kaspa is going to be one of them. The problem is that when you see price action like this, and maybe a little bit of FUD that enters the market here and there, and some people on socials, some social media guys, some people that have YouTube channels and so on, they start yapping and things start going the opposite way. It's not a good thing. But if you stick with the fundamentals, if the project has good fundamentals, and if the project ultimately has some good price action to give you an edge, guys, just deploy some capital and just be patient, because ultimately there are tons of projects out here that are trying to do some good stuff. The question is Kaspa have what it takes? Guys, if I've offered you any value here, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join that Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Guys, I'm going to be live tonight at 8 p.m. EST talking about crypto news and price action. If you have any projects you want me to cover, that is a great time and place to make those requests. So see you tonight. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.